As the temperature drops and the trees change color, thousands of fishermen descend on the Lewiston and Clarkston Valley and the Snake and Clearwater rivers to hunt for the elusive king of the trout species, the steelhead. The number one way in which many of these fishermen will attempt to catch this elusive fish is the bobber and shrimp method. This is a highly effective way that has been used on these rivers for many years. This video will show you how to set up the bobber and shrimp method used on the Snake and Clearwater rivers. While there are many variations, the technique shown on this video is the most common setup used today.
To set up the bobber and shrimp combination used in the valley for steelhead fishing, first you need a medium action rod. You'll need your bobber stopper, which is a nail knot, your bead, your corky, your bobber, a weight, some leader, your swivel, and your jig. This is the basic setup for the shrimp and bobber technique. We're going to break this down into 3 steps. We'll have our bobber stopper, corky, and bead. We'll then put in the bobber, the weight, and the swivel, and then we will do our leader and the jig. The first step of this process is to put on the bobber stopper. This is simply a nail knot tied around a piece of plastic. You would just slide this through your line, slide the nail knot off, and pulling both sides, pull this tight onto the line. You then slide your bobber stop off. Then you can move this up. The next step would be to put on your bead. You simply thread the bead onto your line and up to your bobber stopper. The next step would be to slide on the corky and slide that up so it'll look like this. This will stop the line from getting stuck into the top of your bobber and to keep your stopper at the same location. The next step is to place the bobber, weight, and swivel onto your line. Simply take your line, slide it through the top to the bottom of your bobber so that the head of the bobber will face your corky. Then put on your sliding weight, and then we will simply tie on your swivel. So we now have our bead, our corky, our bobber, our weight, and swivel. Our last section is to tie on your leader and your jig. It's simply tie on your leader to the end of the line. In this case, I'm just going to do a basic fishing knot at the end here. And then, to the end of your leader, you'll simply place your jig, again with a simple fishing knot. Now once we've placed it all in there, it's time to trim up all the excess line. For instance, on the nail knot, we'll trim back the yarn or the string for that. We'll clip off any excess from our knots. So now we have our basic bobber and shrimp technique used here in the valley. We've got our nail knot tied with thread. our bead, our corky, our bobber, our weight, our swivel, our leader, and our jig. Oftentimes you'll see people place a stick in here that'll look like this, but in most cases it's not used because you can see your corky when it reaches the top, knowing that you've reached your specific depth. So this is our basic technique used here in the valley to catch steelhead.